So the issue that we saw in the previous demo is called cold start. And this problem is common for all function as a service solutions. And the reason why it happens is because functions are provisioned only if they're used. And if provisioned instances are not used anymore, they will be removed. And the problem is that it takes time to provision a new instance. That's why the first request took much longer than subsequent requests in our case. Now, if you recall how Lambda functions are provisioned, if we need a new instance of a function to run, then AWS Lambda will have to download our code, create a container, create the environment, and execute our code. Now, when will we see cold start if we interact with a serverless application? Well, we will only see when a new instance of a function is created. And this can happen in two cases. One, if no instances of a function are running, and two, if an additional instance is required. So this may be a problem in a few cases. First, if we process customer requests and we want to guarantee a specific latency. Second, if we have very infrequent requests and our function instances are removed between requests. And the third case when this can be a problem if we have an unexpected spike of requests. So in this case, there will be not enough function instances available and AWS will have to provision many more instances. But on the other hand, if you have a steady stream of requests and your function instances are constantly reused, then you won't experience this problem. Now, to see how we can deal with the cold start issue, we first need to take a look at a function lifecycle. So according to AWS, when it executes our function, the first thing that it needs to do is to download code for our function. Then it needs to start a new container. And then if our function is running in a VPC, it needs to perform two additional steps. First, it needs to create an elastic network interface, and then it needs to attach this interface to our function. When this step is passed, then AWS Lambda needs to bootstrap a new runtime environment, and only then it can execute our function. Well, the first 5 steps together are called cold start. And the last step or execution of our function is a warm start. So this will happen if an instance of our function already exists and it can be reused. So in this case, AWS will only execute our function and it will skip the previous 5 steps. And now if we look at the optimization of different steps, then the first 4 steps are AWS responsibility, and AWS will have to work on optimizing those steps and to make our function cold start faster. But we can focus on the last 2 steps. We can help AWS to run those functions faster.